Hello and welcome back to our class. We hope that our last class was impactful. In our last class, we tried to look at what music is all about, why you need to understand it, why you should have it. And towards the end of the class, we promised that we were gonna come back with genre of music. And here we are today. I want to walk you through the genre of music. Now, the class is going to be divided into two. That means after this video, you are going to have a second video. That's because we are going to, for this class, look at the genre of music generally. And then in the second video, we are going to limit it to the ones that concerns um, the choir, the kind of one music the choir does. It is important for you to understand this genre, even though you may not be studying all of them or you may not be doing all of them, but it will help you understand what is expected of you when you are required to perform a particular piece, the kind of instrument involved, the kind of vocal texture used. Yes, because every genre have a way that they work. So it is important for both the choristers, instrumentalists, sound engineers, and everyone so that you understand exactly what you're supposed to do and you do it accordingly. So there are many music genre um, which may not elaborate. Sometimes if you search on your Google, you will see up to 50, sometimes 25 and all. But we are going to talk about the factors that help us determine or categorize this music into these genres. Right? But before then, I'll mention a few genres to you. You have like the classical, then the one you call popular, there's regional, sorry, rather there's religious, then traditional folk, there are others. There are plenty. There's jazz, there's blues, there's reggae, there's R&B, there's hip hop, there's Afro. Now we even have the Ama piano and all. So we'll make attempts to look at some of them. But before we go into all that, we would like to look at those factors that informs how this music should be categorized. You know, the importance of this categorization is so that you know what is associated with it. But before we even look at that one, let us look at what this genre is all about. Let us look at the definition of genre, right? So, according to Wikipedia, a genre of music, particularly about music, is a conventional category that identifies some pieces of music as belonging to a shared tradition or set of conventions. I take it again. A conventional category that identifies some pieces of music as belonging to a shared tradition or a set of convention. Now let's look at what a convention is. A convention, still according to Wikipedia, is a way in which something is usually done. A way in which something is usually done. For instance, the way you brush, the way you hold your toothbrush and you thrust your teeth with it. And you do that every time, the same way, the same manner. So that means that for a music to be categorized into a certain genre, into one genre, it means that those kind of music has some similarities, some factors, some key elements, that makes them sound together. When you listen to them, there's some identity in those kind of music, and it is what now informs that okay, we will put all this kind of music that sound like this into one category and call it a particular name. And that is why I said at the beginning that it is important for you to know them, so that when you now have the piece, you know these elements that are associated with this category of music, this genre of music. Now they have their form, their style, the kind of instrument used. Um, Sometimes lyrics is also one of those elements that makes it what it is. So let's talk about those elements, those factors that help us define this music or categorize them into certain genres. The first one we'll look at is instrumentation. Yes, the kind of instrument used, how the instruments are played, and also help us to identify a certain piece of music um, as a certain genre of music. For instance, if you look at rock, you cannot talk about rock if there's no plenty electric guitar. It has to be there. And if you are talking about the classical music, for instance, you know that you have to talk about strings, horns, and all the orchestral instruments. In fact, this is some of the things that help define what a classical music is. So I stumbled upon a video this morning. Most of you know this Santos Libera, and like I said, music is creativity, yes, and we all have to be creative. Why everybody was appreciating what this man who was playing conga to that Santos Libera, and I'm sure most of you have seen the video. The way he played it, it's so amazing. I like it. I like the man. Maybe if I have a project, I will have to contact him. But if you look at the music, the way it is written, it is not written for that form. Although in the video description, it was written Santos Libera Remix. So you see, there's a problem there. They say it's remix, so we can take it for a remix. But if you are doing it according to how it was written, you should know that the conga drum is not needed in that music. It's not intended. The music is not in that fashion. And this is where it is important for you to know these genres of music and what uh, they are made of. If you don't understand what they are, how they play, and what is required of each of the genres, what makes the genres what they are, then you be misinterpreting the pieces like this one was done. So yes, instrumentation is one of the ways we use to recognize that this music is blues, this music is rock, this music is classical, this music is this, and this music is that. And it is also important for your sound engineer while he's mixing, even in your church sessions. The sound engineer, I know that most churches don't really have a sound engineer. They have technicians that know how to um, turn up and off the volumes and stuff like that. So if there are such people and they're in this class, it will help them. It will help you to understand genres of music so that you know how you are mixing, so that you know what instrument you are giving priority to and which one you are keeping low. Normally, the voice should be up there. It's the primary thing. Yes. Then, but apart from the voice, there are there's a way of mixing each genre because of this instrumentation now. There's a way of mixing them. You know that if you are doing hip hop, what instrument is very familiar to hip hop? Like I mentioned rock and the electric guitar, and I mentioned classical and the plenty strings and horns and all. So if you are bearing strings for, say, a rock music, you can't be burying it in a classical music because the primary instrument for that genre. That's why it is important for everybody to know it. And as a choir director, you know that okay, this song that we are doing today is in this style, is in this form. So these are the instruments I will be needing as a choir director. These are the instruments that should flow with the song. You as an instrumentalist also, especially those who plays the keyboard, because the keyboard is full of many other instrument synth, uh, like synthesizers. You can choose many voices on the keyboard, so it will also help guide you which one to choose to play a certain song that will make it represent what the writer of the song or the composer of the song intends. So another important factor that help us determine what kind of music that you are listening to or that we are expected to perform is the rhythm and pattern. So every genre of music that you know has its own pattern, has its own rhythm, has a way the sound, the way we groove into it. For instance, a dance music will naturally feature a steady drumming pattern, while a jazz music will be so full of complicated syncopations. It will not be that plain beat, you know. It will have syncopation, so many breaks here and there, and then the music continues. So another one that we'll look at are the melodies and harmony. Yes, melodies and harmonies are also important factors that help us categorize music into certain genres. The way melodies of hymns, like I was talking about, goes is different from rock, is different from hip hop, is different from Afrobeat. Now I'm not talking about lyrics, melodies, how you know they sing those kind of music, and even the harmonies are also different. That's why once you say you are doing this music, say jazz, there's something someone is expecting to hear. You know, you don't carry um, harmony ideas of a blues and begin to apply to classical music or vice versa. Another factor we want to look at is voice style. This my voice I'm using to talk now. It could be a good voice, could as at the same time be a bad voice, right? It all depends on the kind of music I want to do. This is what many people don't understand, right? Every music genre have their voice style, right? While the classical music make use of the head voice a lot, music such as gospel, they mostly use their chest voices. Two different things. No one is wrong. You only be considered as being wrong when you are in the wrong environment. For instance, if you are the type that sings with head voice alone, if you join a gospel band, they are not gonna like you, and you will not feel comfortable there. There's gonna be a clash. In fact, you'll be made to come down to what they do there, right? The same way, if a gospel